Now to the wildfire recovery. Local leaders asking Congress to reconsider its latest budget adjustment after a multi-billion-dollar request for Southern California fire recovery was left out. Letters sent to California's D.C. delegation urged the representatives and the senators to try again to add that funding. NBC4's investigative reporter Eric Leonard has been tracking state and federal fire relief money. He joins us live with an update on this. Eric.
Hi, Colleen. This is a huge request, $15.7 billion that L.A. City and county say is needed to replace or repair all of the public infrastructure damaged or destroyed in the January 2025 wildfires. Both the Altadena and Palisades areas have enormous needs, far beyond what the initial emergency recovery funds have covered. These letters, sent this week to California's senators and representatives, asks them to add the multi-billion-dollar need to the latest supplemental funding request sent to Congress. The letter says the Eaton and Palisades fire burn areas were left out of the president's latest funding request to Congress, and it urges the Appropriations Committee to find a way to include it. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass and L.A. County Supervisor Catherine Barger signed the letters that say projects to rebuild schools, parks, senior centers, roads, and other infrastructure will need $15.7 billion. About half of that has been requested for projects in L.A. County, including more funding to move utility lines underground, expand the open space between homes in the wilderness, and install a new water system in Altadena, and nearly $5 billion for housing and financial support for fire victims, many of whom are still living in temporary homes and were underinsured for the cost of rebuilding.
Now we're going to continue to reach out to the federal government to ask for their assistance. In times of crisis, that's a moment when I think you need to see all government partners come together.
State Senator Sasha Renee Perez says she's looking for resources for her constituents in Altadena anywhere they can be found, and says while the federal money will be critical for the entire community, she says she's still trying to find ways the state government can help individual fire survivors rebuild and restore their lives.
I would really love to see the federal government continue to make more investments, but to also look from a policy lens how they could better improve some of the operations with FEMA.
That follows confusion among fire victims and even within local government about the mechanisms for getting access to federal disaster funds.
How we handle this recovery process is going to inform the next disaster and better prepare us for that next disaster.
So this $15.7 billion request is completely separate from the $2.5 billion emergency fund that was set up by the governor after the fires. Access to that pool of money closed at the end of June, even though less than half of that fund was used. I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News.